especially the men in this room. That shocked me that a man showed up.
Yeah.
We've already got our Dr. Austin Andretti, sorry, Dr. Andretti. We have our dance teacher already. So I'm impressed that you men have a passion for that. I think that's awesome. And then hearing some of you talk about your upbringing just brought back memories. Because like he said, baby and 9, right? So whoever was the oldest of a huge family, yeah, the opposite. We're the bookends, right? But this was my stepmother. My mom died when I was a little girl, but my stepmother came from back east, very proper. We're all, California side, and very, California is just so kick back, go to the beach, everybody's cool. And you don't really have that, but we were raised in this strict home. In fact, you remember the night you came to pick me up, the very first night, she answers the door, and who might you be? And then into the living room and sit down proper in the living room, and what are your intentions with my daughter? And he was like, what?
Now wait, let me make something clear. What she just said all happened in under 60 seconds. Knock on the door, who might you be? Won't you step into the whatever room that is? It was some room you could tell that they didn't live. No, they didn't do anything in that room. You could tell it was spotless. And then she said, "And what are your intentions with my daughter?" And I've never had anybody talk to me like that. And I said, "I'm taking her to church tonight." And so, anyway, but her mom, we wound up becoming best friends.
I have to say this too, because it is funny how, so also, in the same breath, as proper as she was, manners, all 11 of us at that big table we had, and we were not allowed to leave, probably a lot of you the same way. You could not get out of your chair until you asked, may I be excused? And just little things like that. We all had our jobs, making the bed, setting the table. I still, I have to set the table. I just always getting my kids and grandkids, you gotta set a table. It's just improper to sit down. Jack will eat over the sink, and I'm like, no, we're gonna
sit down.
Yeah. So, anyways, where was I going with that? Lost my train of thought. It's something else. Sorry?
First day.
No, that was that first day thing. It went poof.
The men here.
Poof. It's gone. It'll come back.
Sounds like.
Oh, yeah, thank you. You hit it on the head. As much as she was proper, she actually had the understanding that children should be seen and not heard. Kids were always last to eat. We always had to go, and wait for the adults to eat. I don't know when that flip-flop, was that normal with you strict home people?
No.
No? Okay, now we have so flip-flopped the other way. The pendulum swung, because I don't even know when it started that then we were all, to this day, my parents would be like 100, right? I still don't know their friends' first names. It's still Mrs. Colburn and Mr. Syme, right? I never knew their names. Then all of a sudden, when we're having kids, that generation, everybody's first name. And I don't know why that left. I don't know what happened in the 60s and 70s, but it went poof. And I think it's wonderful to have that. And I know some people that are teaching their young ones to go back to the Mr. and Mrs. And I think that's very sweet. It's proper. I don't know, Austin, what's going on in public school? Do they call them Mr. or Mrs.? Oh, they still do?
Yes.
Well, that's good to hear. So anyways, you guys have been a wealth of information. Make sure that if you didn't hit that QR code on your way in, because that's how we're going to know who you are. There's also, if you don't know how to do that, there is a pencil and a paper there. Make sure you leave us your information, because you guys, this is exactly what we wanted, okay? We're not here to give you information. We wanted to know who was out there so you could give us information to know where to even begin to be thinking about these teens. How can we do a class, which I would love to end with a banquet, like have, maybe 4 weeks of teaching on manners and all of that, and then end with, and I told the youth pastors this, and they're both kind of looking at me, and I even brought up something about a dance. They went, oh, they can't touch each other because they can't handle it. And I'm like, well, we have to teach them this is okay, that you don't have to be like, oh,
It turns out our youth pastors couldn't handle the thought. That's what happened. So we're going to work on them. They're going to be learning. But listen, before we end this thing tonight, though, I have to confess, I'm completely overwhelmed with what I've heard from each and every one of you. Gosh, I almost feel like we've been handed like a golden key or something, where the respect that we owe you guys just for all that you've disciplined into your life is epic and so powerful. I am not an organized individual. You guys have probably figured that out if you come here on a Sunday. We've got to somehow capitalize on this meeting tonight. So because I don't know anything about that QR code, can someone tell me what that actually does though?
That's just their name and their email and their phone number. And so we have who was here.
So when you say
who they are, we can contact
when you say we, do you have someone? Yes, so this here is going to
May and Austin.
because I don't want to. I'm being very possessive right now. I was so impressed by every one of you. I don't want to lose any of you. Yes.
So the way when all the information is captured on the form, it is populated into a spreadsheet,
Okay.
and then it's housed, so whomever has access to it.
Okay. So what does that mean moving forward? What do we do next? Is that something to be determined?
Well, first of all, I didn't know if 2 people were going to show up here. I'm overwhelmed that there's this many people here, and the amount of emails, I can't even tell you. There must be 20 or 30 emails that people live out of state that heard him make the announcement and were like, oh my gosh, I can do that, I can do that. So they have just tons of information too that we got to sift through, but I'm sure we need to have another meeting, obviously, and continue this path, because it's going to take some time to figure this out. What's the best way to do it? And if you guys, as you're thinking, if we were going to do like